Oh, hey, Roger. We. Sorry, guys. This is Halos in the Infield. Hey, this is Todd Fox. This isn't Roger Lodge show. We had the train trying to interrupt us. So this is Todd Fox, and who's my co-host?
Beep, beep, beep. Halo honk for life. Woo, go Angels. Beep, beep, beep. I'm a Halo honk for life. I love you, Roger. I want to sit with you in the nosebleeds at the Arctic and feel even better.
You get to sit in the 600 section.
Yeah. God. Could you imagine if the Angels had a 600 section? It'd be like Dodger. Like at Dodger Stadium, you know how they have that, like, those seats that legitimately give you a nosebleed?
Oh, yeah, the red level. That's so high up, dude.
You got to, like, duck because, like, the planes are flying in. LAX is nowhere near. Could you imagine if it was, though? That'd be so scary because those buildings are right there. I'd be terrified the entire time.
It'd be worse than the old Shea Stadium with the airplanes. But yeah,
I never went to Shea Stadium.
I never did either, but I've heard stories, man. I've heard stories. Welcome into Halos in the Infield podcast. We are two at this time, obviously. Courtney not here. But she'll be back for the next episode. But this was the last.
She's not here though. I'm gonna say that we're the two. I'm just saying.
Okay. Well, you got to count this guy behind me, Artie Moreno. He's always over my shoulder for some uncomfortable reason. But
El hombre.
Yeah, exactly. You get the pass since you're Latino, so I don't. He's got
that like $1 billion mustache.
He does, doesn't he? He needs a Monopoly cane though. He needs that.
He needs a monocle.
There you go.
Monocle Artie. I like Monocle Artie. Monocle Artie is like hooded Carmelo Anthony.
Oh,
dude, yeah. Here he comes playing left field. Monocle Artie. Said coming up. You think Artie's like jacked or no?
I think he used to be. When he first bought the team, he looked pretty big. I saw him at a press conference, and then over the years, he looks pretty fragile. I seen him in spring training, and he walked by us, and dude, my dad looked more buff than he did. I'm just saying, my dad's 80, or close to 80. But we're gonna get into on this podcast. We're gonna be talking Blue Jays and Angels baseball.
And I'll say he had some pecs in 2003. I mean, I'll say that.
See, I knew it. Yeah, I remember he was walking around strutting his stuff, man. He was. But all the losing and all that gin and whiskey, and he's lost his form. Let's just say that. So what do you got first up on the docket, my friend? Anything you want to get out there before we get started, or you want to talk about the Blue Jays?
I mean, we could jump into the Blue Jays series. I'm just gonna say, like, you guys know that we're hardcore fans. I mean, we put literally to say that you and I and everyone else on this page has 2 full-time jobs is an understatement. I mean, I work a full-time job. You work a full-time job. And when we're not doing that, the rest of our lives involve being on our cell phones. Like, I always used to make fun of like content creators on like YouTube and all that kind of stuff, who they're like, oh, I'm so busy. And I'm just like, there's no way, bro. I mean, you literally just make content on your phone. But no, we're still small and we're that busy. But anyway, what I wanted to say was we're as hardcore as it gets. A lot of our listeners are too. But is it wrong that at this point when they lose, I'm just kind of numb? I'm just like, whatever. That's fine. Have you hit that point yet of the season where you're just like, whatever? I mean, it is what it is.
I unfortunately did, I think, right after the Dodgers series. It was just every time the Angels would come back and give you hope, and like other teams would open the door and say, come on back into the race, guys. You're right there. You just got to take care of what's in front of you. And every time I get my hopes up, they were dashed all season. And just like a lot of you, I mean, 25 times back to 500 is pretty pathetic. And I think I finally have tapped out. And especially, unfortunately, like I said on the post game, with football creeping up, it's like, okay, I'm ready, man. I'm ready to just put a nail in the coffin,
Well, like I said, good news for you is I don't give a damn about football. So when you need me to take over those post games, I got you.
Well, let's just say you'll be doing some Sundays, and I don't think they play on Monday early in the season. I think it's late in the season. So yeah, you won't have to worry about a Monday, but maybe a Thursday involved. So yeah, I mean, I'm going to take a back seat to because again, if this team is trying, if this team is giving you something to watch, I'm all in. I'm still all in if we're eliminated. But dude, I mean, come on. I mean, you're saying you're numb to it. I'm numb to it. We're hardcore fans, like you explained. I mean, how do we sell this to other hardcore fans?
I mean, I told you guys all the time that for me, I'll go to an empty Angel Stadium. I don't care. I just like going to games. I like
Hmm.
the atmosphere. I like you know, I like the interaction with the fans. So
Hmm.
to me, going to the stadium is going to the stadium. It doesn't matter if I'm seeing a team that has lost all season or a team that's lost all season long, which is the case.
Hmm.
For me, it's about going there. But I mean, how do you convince other fans? It's just, sometimes you just got to do it to do it.
I agree, and we talked about too on the on the post game was the fact that when's the last time you've seen Angel Stadium this empty? I mean, like you can't even blame it on the COVID anymore. Anaheim fans are going everywhere without mask on. And I was in Brea, which is close to LA, and also just a little bit in the Anaheim, Orange County area. And we went to a comedy show, Tosh Point oh. Nobody wore a mask inside or out, and everyone was fine with it. So, and that place was packed. So, what's the excuse for the Angels? Bad baseball. And you're not putting a winner on the field, or at least a team that the fans feel that's trying. I don't blame them for not showing up. I mean,
Yeah, it's been consistently like that though for a while. You know what I mean? We've noticed a trend. We've noticed a trend, and I get it. Why maybe some casual fans don't want to go. I mean, we live in Orange County,
mhm,
Southern California. There's so much other things to do.
mhm.
Yeah, I get it, but you know,
Well,
I just don't know what it's going to take. I mean, you can always just say a winning team, but you know,
um, I think it is. If you build it, they will come. That Field of Dreams thing. The Angels, they were the hottest ticket around there for a while in Orange County. The only thing hot, well, the only thing hotter was Disneyland, but you basically had a sold out stadium for a long time. And they've
yeah.
worked their way into a situation now where, like the other day, you can get tickets for $3 and sit on the floor in that doubleheader. So that's just how.
One time, a couple of years ago, I want to say it's like 2018. I literally sat in row 9, field level, right behind first base for like $4. I wish I was joking.
Oh,
I'm not joking. I swear. It was
wow.
like one of the last games of the year against Seattle. We
Hmm.
were out of it at that point mathematically, and yeah, $4. Like,
Well, I'm sure they were out of it too. So why go? Um, and it's sad because again, you have a lot of hardcore fans. Like if you just browse Instagram and forget about Facebook, Twitter, and all those other stuff. But if you just browse Instagram, you could see on all these pages the Shohei Otani. I was thinking of the guy who runs it, but Shohei Otani pages, the Angel pages. People are dedicated to this team year round, and it's just sad that this thing could be so much bigger. And if this team were winning, our page would be benefiting. It already has benefited from our startup, and I think our good content, your ideas, and all of the team's ideas. But imagine where this page would be just in 2 months if this team was winning, bro. I mean, it affects everybody.
yeah, I mean, we can sit here and make excuses all day long, or we can just keep on looking at the fact that we keep progressing. By the way, for those of you guys listening, happy 2 month anniversary. I mean, at the time this
Mm-hmm.
is released, we'd be a little bit beyond, but the 13th of every month is our anniversary, and I mean, I made a post earlier. I mean, 6,000 plus listens. What about 1,000, over 1,600 followers on Instagram, over 500 Twitter followers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The list goes on. Thanks, you guys. You guys are the best.
Exactly. I mean, there's no other better way to say it. But yeah, definitely, if this team was winning, you'd have more people engaged. So now we're going to hit a spot where football season starts and people are going to turn their attention away. And I've admitted to it. You were a casual football fan, but I think you're going to stick with baseball. So there are going to be their hardcore that are going to follow this team to the very freaking end, till it freaking sinks under the Atlantic Ocean or Pacific Ocean, and we'll just go from there. But we came here to talk baseball, and there's a lot of stuff that are negative lately. But and go figure. Before we get into Toronto, who would have thought? Did you think at this time of the season, bro, our pitching would be the strength of this team?
I would have. I actually thought the bullpen this year was going to be the strength, and before looked decent on paper, right? I mean, Tony Watson, Steve Cishek had a good career prior to coming here. Obviously, Rysell had been Rysell with the Reds, so I was hoping to bring that over here. I had enough hope there that the Angels were going to have a good bullpen. Boy, I will eat crow 4 times. I was wrong. The bullpen has been literally the reason why we're in this position, really. Though, I mean, today against the Astros, I don't necessarily blame the bullpen. But, I mean, the starting has been a little bit surprising overall. We've had some pretty good performances.
Yeah, and the youngsters coming up has given us some promise. If you could take anything out of this season, is that youngsters that we didn't think that we were going to be playing are, and most likely will in September. I know Packy was set down, a Page favorite, but I think when he comes back up in September, he should get his chances too. And we were kind of gauging things for next year. Just the most disappointing thing to me has just been the hitting and the lack of contact, the lack of situational baseball, launch angles. What about you? I mean, are you the same way?
Yeah, for an offense that has so much potential, it's been really disappointing to see them, not click. Let's throw another quarter in the Fernando saying, when the offense is going, the pitching is not there.
Yep.
When the pitching's firing on all cylinders, our offense isn't there. Mm-hmm. Seriously. I mean, if I had $1 for every time I said it, I'd pay for everyone who's going to the tailgate to have tickets. Because, I mean, we've been saying it all season long. And, once again, we can't make excuses for this team. At the end of the day, it's unacceptable. It shouldn't be this way. Mm-hmm. But it really is frustrating, man. I'm getting tired of it. I'm getting over it. It's like, it's not even the fact that we're missing the big hits. It's the fact that when, you have a runner on third base with nobody out, how is that guy not scoring? Oh. I understand that situation happens 10 times. You're not going to do it all 10 times. I get that. But you should be scoring that guy 7 or 8 out of those 10 times. If there's a runner on third base with less than 1 out. 1 out or less. God, try a suicide squeeze. You know what? You try a suicide squeeze, they throw the ball home, he gets out in time on an off attack. Hey, we tried it. Whatever. Mm-hmm. Pop the ball out.
Not up.
So the guy can score. Do something.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, situational hitting has been an Achilles heel for the last, month and a half?
Mm-hmm.
All season, really.
I think last year, my dad was saying that over and over. He's like, dude, we just can't get the clutch hit. We can't get the hit with runners in scoring position. We can't get the sacrifice. And I really, really thought this season was going to be different. I thought we had different approach, different hitters, that we would be able to knock in some runs. They're just doing the same shit. Nothing has changed.
Who's the clutch hitter your dad always talks about?
Well, he liked Fergosi back in the day, but he was a big GA fan. He was like, dude, whenever, you got a guy on base, GA would come up with a big hit. And,
I can't wait to meet him at the tailgate tomorrow, by the way.
Oh yeah.
I'm excited.
I'm hoping he's animated because he was nervous on the podcast. I was trying to get him more upbeat. He was after the thing. He was like, I didn't bring up the walks. I really hate the walks. He was animated.
Well, he better get ready for some question of the days because I'm going to ask Papa Fox and Trent Rush like a couple of our most popular questions of the days. I'm going to see what they say.
Okay, looking forward to that.
Do we have to think of a really good question of the day for the tailgate? But we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
But okay, so he was a big GA guy, big Fergosi. Is there anybody else who always talks about who was a clutch hitter?
Yeah, he did like Brian Downing. That I think that was his first favorite power hitter. He goes back to Steve Bilko, with the Los Angeles Angels, and then but he for modern times, he liked the play of Darren Erstad. He loved Tim Salmon, but he liked Garrett Anderson a little bit more because he was just a quiet guy. My dad doesn't like flashy players, and to be honest with you, if Marsh turns into a superstar, I think my dad's gonna hate it because my dad is totally anti like long hair and beards. He's always like, "Why do those guys? I don't see what women like in those guys. Long beards and stupid long hair. You got to cut the hair. See, the Yankees do one thing right. They have clean cut, clean shaven ball players. That's how you're supposed to have. The Angels have all these beatniks out there. They should be serving coffee." That's his mentality.
It's funny. Yeah, they should be serving coffee in Seattle.
Yeah, exactly.
Does he work at a brewery? Todd, does he work? Does he work at Carl Strauss?
Yeah, that's my pops, man. He's very old school, so he doesn't like the long hair stuff. But hey,
Yeah, I
clean
mean,
cut.
he can get away with saying that kind of stuff. People are just like, okay, boomer. But like,
Yeah.
if you and I say that, it's like, ooh, canceled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's got his old guy card that he could play. But I
Yeah,
mean,
that's fine.
Garrett. Going back to Garrett, Garrett was as clean cut as they were. He never had a bad thing to say. Constant professional. I think that's why my dad liked him. He had a nice demeanor about him, and just clutch as hell. I mean, I didn't like the fact fans used to rip him because they thought he was lazy in left field, but I thought he was pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, GA, good ball player. Great
Yeah,
ball
he was.
player. One of
Absolutely.
the all-time best Angels. Who do you think number should be retired first? Because I think all Angels fans are going to be like, oh, Tim Salmon, Garrett Anderson. You know
Mhm.
what? Maybe that's a question of the day. Who should get their number retired first, Garrett Anderson or Tim Salmon?
Yeah, you I don't know. That's a tough one, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you could even throw Darren Erstad in the mix. I think
Ooh.
if Eckstein would have finished his career here, you could have thrown him in the mix, but he went to St. Louis. Um,
And then the Padres.
yeah, then the Padres, and I think wasn't he coaching with the Pirates up until this year,
Great question.
something like that. And then you have certain players. I mean, you could think of. I mean, a lot of people would say Weaver too. Like you got to you got to retire
Yeah.
Weaver's number. Someone, Frankie Rodriguez. I mean, Troy Percival. There was just an era of Angels that should have their numbers retired, but for whatever reason, they haven't discussed it.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, you know what? Like the Angels just don't strike me as a retired number kind of team.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like the Yankees are like, you get your number retired.
Yeah.
Everybody gets their number retired. It's like Oprah runs there,
Uh-huh.
or runs them or something. The Steinbrenner family is just like everyone. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, I get it. The Yankees have had some of the best all-time players. Blah 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 blah. But I mean, the Angels have had some good players too. It's actually crazy to me to think that Vlad was the first Hall of Famer the Angels ever had.
Yeah, that was a lot of things could have went different had they kept Nolan Ryan. I'm pretty sure he retires an Angel. If they would have
But
signed
most
him.
people know him as an Angel. He
Yeah.
should have gone in as an Angel.
Yeah. I mean, he did some good stuff with the Mets, but like the Rangers was like latter career. His prime was with the Angels. His prime was obviously with the Angels.
I mean, he got 4 of his 7 no-hitters as an Angel.
Yeah. So that's the tough part. What else you got, or as far as retire? Oh, the Dodgers. I want to bring that up to follow along. The Dodgers were a team that doesn't retire numbers. Obviously, like some people would be like, "Oh, it's kind of sacrilegious." You see someone wearing Mike Scioscia's number. A lot of people loved him with the Dodgers. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I'm just saying there's certain guys that the Dodgers you would think retire their number and they don't. So
Do they have any retired numbers?
other
I'm
than
not a Dodger fan, so that I have to look up.
other than Jackie Robinson, new.
Jackie Robinson doesn't count because that's obviously, a league-wide thing. Okay, so they do have some retired members.
No, hold that thought real quick. Hold that thought real quick.
Yeah, I mean, the Dodgers actually have 10 retired members. Don Drysdale, obviously Jackie, Roy Camanella, Sandy Koufax, Walter Alston, Don Sutton, Jim Gulliman, Duke Snyder, Tony La Russa, and Pee Wee Reese. But this isn't a Dodger podcast, so I just wanted to throw that out there. I think the Angels, off the top of my head, had maybe like 6.
Yeah.
That sound right? Because, I mean, what? You got the singing cowboy. You've got – is Fergosi's number retired?
Good question. Yeah, you might want to look that up.
I'm pretty sure it is. I mean, I know for sure Nolan Ryan. people are like shouting at their radios.
Yeah, the radios, podcasts,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, it's all the same. It's all the same. Okay. All right. So yeah, Gene Autry.
Uh-huh.
Obviously right about that. Rod Carew,
Yeah, Rod
of
Carew.
course. Nolan Ryan. Yep, got that one. Jimmy Reese.
Yeah, he was with the
Jim
team
Fregosi.
forever. Yeah.
Got that. Okay, that's it.
Now, see, I have, I have
And
a, I
yeah.
have, I have a problem with Carew though.
Okay.
Carew was an all-time Twins guy. He came to the Angels latter part of his career, was pretty much done. He was just getting the stats. He actually left the team a year before they went on their magical playoff run in '86. So
Oh.
he was done in '85. I don't really think I think he got in because of his Twins accomplishments. I don't think he should be in the Angel Hall of Fame for. I mean, he really didn't do too much with the Angels, to be honest
I
with you.
mean, maybe, but I mean, I got a rebuttal for you. Remember, I grew up in San Diego. I mean, Steve Garvey's numbers retired as a Padre. And I
Mhm.
get it. He got the home run that essentially got them over the Cubs to get them to the first World Series. I get it. But it's the same thing, right? Rod Carew got his huge accomplishment as an Angel,
Mhm.
3,000th career hit.
Mhm.
But I mean, Steve Garvey got in for basically one home run.
That
Is
is
that the
true.
reason why Carew got in? Because of 3,000 hits? And if that's the reason, does Pujols' number get retired? I don't think it
Oh.
should, but I mean, with that logic,
I why'd you have to remind me of that? Because I think you're right. With that logic, I think you're right. I think Pujols gets his number retired as an Angel.
he should not. But something tells me that Artie's the kind of guy who'd put that in your contract. I don't know why Artie just that kind of guy to me. You're like, oh, well, we're going to retire your number.
What do you think, Artie? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, he's got that side smirk right there. That and mustachio.
He's like Viva Pujols.
Yeah. A little shirt, merch, Viva Pools.
Yeah.
But it's a poop emoji.
Oh man, yeah, exactly. He's like, watch your mouth, son.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, this team is something else. I really I was hoping, like you said, when it comes to Hall of Fame players, and you went down the Dodgers. I mean, they have a list of guys. Obviously, they have a longer history, and a richer history because of their playoff success. It's just it's mind-boggling that we don't have more at least retired or Angels players that we can say, hey, remember that guy? Because I think this year, especially 2022, with the 20th year anniversary of the Angels' only World Series appearance and victory, there should be some retired numbers coming up. I mean, don't you think?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's the thing, man. Us as Angels fans have longed to have our guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we had them in the, late 90s, early 2000s with, the Salmons, the Andersons. But for the larger part of our history, we haven't really had our guys.
Mm-hmm.
Every other organization has had those guys, with a couple of exceptions, for guys, for teams who have longed to have some people. But, the team up to 5 have had several their guys.
Mm-hmm.
Now we kind of have our guy with Trout, and if everything plays out the way it should because of his lifetime contract, he will retire as an Angel, and that will be our guy.
Mm-hmm.
What I want to know is, if Mike Trout can finally come back healthy and stay healthy. He has not been healthy since 2016.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, last year it doesn't really count. It was 60 games, but is he, if he can stay healthy-ish, is he going to be the new Mr. Angel? Will he hop over Tim Salmon as Mr. Angel?
I think he already has. I think
You think so?
Yeah, I think he could retire today and be a Hall of Famer. He's just put together that kind of resume already. I think
you're right.
I think what's going to hurt him, though, however, is right now he's ahead of Barry Bonds. But you got to remember Barry Bonds steroids. His best years was the tail end of his career. Had he been putting up Trout numbers and we didn't have COVID season the last 3 seasons, he'd be probably on par to catch Bonds as a home run champ. I don't think it's going to happen now, unless he just goes on a tear. But yeah, I think he's a Hall of Famer. He's a Hall of Famer for sure.
Yeah, I think that the thing that is the most depressing, like I said, he hasn't really been healthy since 2016, is the fact that with the amount of time he's missed, we're now looking at roughly a year a full year missed and some change.
Mm-hmm.
Because 2017, he missed like 2 full months. 18, I know he had a slight injury. Same with 19. I don't think either of those were anything crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, 19, did he have surgery? I think he did. And he got shut down like in August.
Yeah. He
That
ended the
sounds
season
right.
early, yeah.
And then last year, obviously, was kind of robbed from everybody. And then now this year, he's missed more games than he was in. So, I mean, all that combined, I mean, we're talking about a year and a half in total that we could have missed. I mean, that's probably him batting about 280 to 300. And we're talking about him missing, what do you think? About 40-ish to 50 home runs being conservative?
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
more.
Yeah, and then all those RBIs,
If we're
bases.
assuming he's going to have like a down year. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Stolen bases, we're probably talking about 20-ish. He doesn't steal like he used to.
Mm-hmm.
And then, RBIs, we're talking about maybe 150 potentially that could, because, he still drives and runs. So, I just don't want Trout to be that guy. Because what I would hate is to think back in like 10 years when, he does retire and think maybe they were right. Maybe we should have traded Trout. And it sounds sacrilegious to say, but it's making me upset to think that after a year like this year, maybe life after Trout would have existed. And there's going to be some people, maybe the Halo honks who straight upon this, who are like, oh my God, oh my God, I'm going to throw up. He said life after Trout. But the real Angels fans are going to sit back and be like, he's true. He's right. Because trust me, I was one of the biggest guys who was against, we cannot trade Trout. This is our guy.
Mm-hmm.
But now that we have him, and he's basically, not been a full-time player since 2016, naturally your brain starts to think, especially after a year like this year, did light after Trout actually exist? Where were you on this subject when they were talking about trading him, for the last couple of years? All the articles were coming out that, the Angels should trade Trout.
I was trying to think how they could do it. And you cannot, to trade a player like him, you cannot you can't go team to team. You cannot do a 2-team trade. It would take 3 or 4 teams to do it because the Angels would have to get a king's ransom back. And obviously, if you're trading Trout to a contender, they're not going to want to give up their squad because then Trout's right back to the way he was before. So what you'd have to do is you'd have to work a trade to where you trade a player or two to another team that's loaded with prospects, good prospects, and another team as well. You got to involve them. They got to trade their prospects to the Angels. They got to get something back. You're fleecing the contender for their minor league squad and maybe another squad, but they get their main piece to go along with their major league caliber playoff team. I think that's the only way it would work. And to work a deal like that for a generational player, good luck to you. But I would say you're not going to get Jacob deGrom back like the Angels fans think. You're not going to, the Mets they're not going to give you Syndergaard deGrom and say, hey, there you go, man. You take our pitching staff. It's not going to work. You got to make it to a team. He's got to make it to a team that's going to win. He's not going to approve a trade to a team that you just made him significantly worse. So it's a difficult thing to do. So for that reason, in mindset, I don't think they're ever going to trade him unless he's on the downside of his career. I don't think anytime soon he's going to be tradable. Yeah. There's going to be too much of a high price. And no matter what the Angels get, you're always going to be looked at cross-sided because did they get enough for him? And I don't think they do.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that was always my mindset from the beginning, during those days. Because, I mean, us Angels fans remember, every single trade deadline, here we go with this horse shit again. Like, they're going to trade Trout. Oh, they should trade Trout. They're going to trade Trout. And that's all you heard. ESPN, MLB Network. Oh, should the Angels rebuild and trade Mike Trout? That's all we heard forever. Yeah. We're talking every single year. And now we're hearing it with a different phenom, Shohei Ohtani. We have next year with Shohei Ohtani, which he's under contract, and the year after will be his 3rd and final year of arbitration until potentially becoming a free agent in 2024. So we still got to deal with this for 2 more years.
I think
I'd love us to keep Shohei Ohtani, but my worry is if we keep Shohei Ohtani, is it going to be a situation like we've been in? We're going to have 3 big contracts in Trout, Rendon, and Ohtani, and then we're going to have to replace him with everybody else. At that point, Jared Walsh is going to be asking for money. He's producing. David Fletcher is under contract for roughly that time, so he'll be here.
Mm-hmm.
But then after that, just a bunch of question marks.
Yeah, I mean this is why like we love to be the GM, the armchair GM, but when when put in place and having to deal with the big question marks and what to do, yeah, I don't want that job, dude. That's a lot of responsibility. That's you're trying to get the future of this squad together. And that's Perry's job now. We'll have to see if he's the guy that leads us to the promised land. Because like you said,
I'll commit this offseason. I'll do a full episode where I talk about how to fix the Angels immediately. But back to your point. Go ahead.
no, I was just finishing on my point. I'm just saying Perry's just got a hell of a job ahead of him. If he doesn't already know, he's got his work cut out for him, basically.
You know what I will say is Perry's in a much better position right now where we stand than Billy Epler ever was.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now we're in a position where, you know what, man, maybe starting pitching isn't the issue. I'm not saying don't go out there and get a starter. I think we still need to go get one veteran presence. You need to get a Max Scherzer for a 2-year contract. You need to get somebody like that who's been there and done that. Maybe not somebody who's going to be vocal, but somebody who will lead by example. Is that Alex Cobb? That could be Alex Cobb, but we need somebody else who really, really, really is going to show these guys what it's like to have a winning attitude. I like Alex Cobb. He's impressed me. I'll be the first one to admit that as soon as I got the new version of MLB The Show, like April, Alex Cobb was the first guy I traded. I was like, whoop, I'm trading this guy. So I'll be the first to admit that. But what I will say, I'll leave Crow on that too. Alex Cobb has done great. But on the other hand, he's been injured. Is he a lot more injured than we think? Maybe. He hasn't come back yet. It started off with what? Was it a blister?
It was a blister. And it turned into a wrist.
Now, yeah. And now what? Is he out for the season? I mean, don't hold your breath.
It sounds like he got the flesh-eating bacteria and it went up to his wrist. It went from his finger to his wrist.
Dude, what are they doing in the training room? No, seriously, I'm just like, what the hell are you guys doing in there? Dude, I mean, what do we have the same training staff as the Chargers who punctured Tyrod Taylor's lung? Just like, what are we doing?
That's right.
How do you puncture somebody's lung?
They're all, we don't want you to be the starting quarterback. Shank him.
Yeah, didn't they say like they were trying to like release pressure or something? And I'm just
something.
Like, what? What are we doing? Like acupuncture on this guy's lung? Oh, 2 pins too many. It's like, is that what they did with like Alex Cobb? They're like, okay, we're gonna do some acupuncture on his wrist. Oh no, we used the flesh-eating virus pins. No.
Well, this team has also been responsible for staph infections, so I don't put anything by them, dude. I mean, how do you get this is ridiculous, dude.
Yeah, dude. I mean, Artie, directly behind you. You need to fire the medical staff, or I will fire them for you, my friend. We're going to go to Chalk Children's Hospital, get the 5 best medical professionals they have, and it's going to be better with the Chalk does a good job, so I'll give them that. Jokes aside, Chalk is great.
I'll vouch for that too, dude. They make those kids not. I remember my daughter had a seizure when she was younger, real bad seizure, and they kept her in Chalk Hospital for a couple of days, and she didn't want to leave because she was pampered.
No.
I mean, her room looked better than her room at home. They had video games and stuff all over the walls. She didn't want to leave. She was like, "Can I stay?" I'm like, "No, you gotta go. This is too expensive."
Yeah.
So, but so moving on, let's talk finally about the freaking series about the Blue Jays.
Okay, my ears won't pop. Sorry.
No,
that explains the face.
I don't think what's going on. But Blue Jays series, they split in 4 games. What are your takes from this series?
I mean, I think I predicted a split.
Mm-hmm.
Courtney predicted a split, and you and Halo Hawk predicted 3 out of 4.
Yeah, I went Rally Chris.
Yeah, I know for sure I predicted a split. But the thing with Rally Chris, has he ever predicted a series loss?
No.
I've never heard it.
No, he hasn't. He's
like, we're gonna take 3 out of 4 against the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
Love you, Rally Chris. I mean, but come on, Rally Chris. You know that's what you do. We're gonna take 3 out of 4 against the Blue Jays. Rally Chris predicts a series win, and it shows up on the bottom. Yay! It's like Lincoln's cheering.
And then we get fuck this team.
Yeah, right. On the post games.
Yeah.
Get your Buttercup merch.
Yeah. Gonna need a lot of that Buttercup stuff, man.
Yeah, right. Got to get myself a Buttercup water bottle.
There you go.
Because the thirst for a winning team is so severe, and it's never quite quenched. Us Angels fans here in Orange County and beyond have cotton mouth.
Oh,
It's your fault, Artie.
We're parched as all hell, man. Good God.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know where to start with that series other than the Blue Jays. I was surprised they didn't take 3 or 4 from us. I did the honk thing like you said, but they just didn't have it. Was it Suarez that got beat first? Or was the second game? I think it was Suarez that got beat the second game.
Yeah, because who pitched the first game? Was it C-Rod?
Yeah, C-Rod pitched good enough to get the victory, but they pulled him. Austin Warren got the win in relief.
Okay, yeah, I'm pulling up the box score right now. So, yep, C-Rod, 4 innings pitched. Remember, this is a 7th inning game.
Mm-hmm.
1 earned run, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. Warren, you are absolutely correct, but he did not get the win. Warren gave up a run, the 2 runs that time, and then Junior Guerra.
No, he got the victory.
Win.
Okay,
he got the win. Yep. Okay, and then our boy Raisel Iglesias got his 25th save. My motherfucking closer. Cut it to Pete Soto. He always says that.
Yeah, he went 1, 2, 3 in the 9th, and then
guy's a beast.
Game 2, Suarez just didn't have it. He was giving up runs early and a lot of walks.
What I will say is, for those of you guys who follow Suarez on Instagram, will see that he's like posted that strikeout on Vlad Jr. like 16 times a day.
Yeah.
He also got mad at me. I direct messaged him. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see
I direct messaged him, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna start calling you the curve," because that sick curveball that struck out Vlad Jr. He got mad at me.
Oh, geez, what did he say?
He got mad at me because he's like, "That's not my nickname." And I'm like, "My bad, bro.
Calm down.
My bad." I know. Jose, si estás mirando, perdón, mi amigo, perdón. Man. Mucho amor. Mucho amor, mi amigo.
He's pretty feisty. Maybe we'll call him feisty.
Can you say mucho amor?
Mucho amor.
Can you say mucho amor?
Mucho amor.
That means much love.
There you go.
Much love. Much love. There you go.
I'm learning.
So, yeah, we lost 4-0. There you go. Who needs Babbel? Babbel sponsor us.
So,
5.1 innings pitched, 4 earned runs. Quijada came in, no runs. Mayers came in, no runs. So it was just Suarez.
Yeah, and it was just no offense too. So we moved on to game 3, and this one was built as a really good pitcher's duel. This was Berrios and Ohtani. And Ohtani did
Thursday.
Was that?
That was Thursday.
Yeah, it was yesterday, right? That was game 3?
No, remember it was a 4 game.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but that was game 3 though, right? Of the series?
No. So game 3 of the series was Lord Bundy.
Oh, that's right.
Versus Manoah.
My bad. Okay.
Yeah, and the Angels just got obliterated. Admittedly, you and I weren't watching the game.
Yeah,
we were doing an interview.
Mm-hmm. We had more important things to do, but
yeah, great interview, by the way. That was a fun interview. I can't wait for that one to get released.
Yeah, we're gonna pop that one in probably later in the week next week. But I'm telling you, I mean, that game was not even close. We didn't really care to watch. What was it, 10-2?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Yeah, I remember. I don't know what you were doing. Like if you had like the game on or anything, but obviously I get the notifications on both my iPad, the computer, and my phone. So we're doing the interview, and it's just the Angels are just getting annihilated, just spanked in the butt repeatedly. And I'm like, oh, it's getting, make it stop. We're already dead.
Yeah, I saw the 2-run homer with Ohtani, and I'm like, heck yeah, we're tied 2-2, and then it just, like you said, got progressively worse after that.
Snowballed.
Yep. So
snowball. That was a good home run too.
It was Roger Lodge talked about it about 20,000 times. So yeah.
James, load it up, James.
Well, you
Wake up, load it up.
see, you were calling for him, and he started playing train again. Stop it, Roger. Damn it.
Yeah.
So yeah, so they got that loss there. So that was 2 in a row, and then they
Yeah.
came back. Then it was Barrios and Otani. So there you go.
Correct.
And that was it was, if it wasn't for Barrios messing up early in the game, I think that would have been a pitcher's duel, because Otani was dialed in the whole night, and Barrios began to get dialed in after that rough start.
Yeah, that was, that did not let up. I know a lot of people were talking about it, hyping it up, but because of the Field of Dreams game, this game kind of took a back seat.
Mm-hmm.
Understandably, I guess everyone, that was like everyone waited so long for it, so I get it. But yeah, man, you shouldn't overshadow what Otani was able to do. I mean, he went 1 for 3. He got a walk. So anytime that Otani does that and then pitches that same game, I mean, you need to understand how incredible that was.
Mm-hmm.
What people keep talking about, oh, we're seeing the Japanese Babe Ruth. At what point are people going to start to realize we're not seeing the Japanese Babe Ruth? We're seeing the one and only Shohei Ohtani. I kind of want that comparison to die. Babe Ruth only consistently pitched and hit for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
He was primarily a hitter for the bulk of his career.
And an out of shape one. And he pitched against probably guys that weren't, had jobs in the off season.
Yeah.
He's not
plumbers.
He wasn't pitching against world-class athletes. So
exactly.
What, like you said, there's only one Ohtani, and he's well worth the price of admission. That's why I think with Trout and Ohtani, we want to see this team much better, because they will be a ticket that will be hard to get at some point, hopefully when they make the postseason. But getting back to it, what Ohtani did in that game, like you said, he comes out scoreless first inning. He's a leadoff guy.
Yeah.
He's not batting ninth. He's the leadoff guy. So, there's a lot of pressure with him. His bat's been a little quiet at times since the All-Star break, but seems like it's getting hot again.
He's at least having competitive at-bats now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because he looked really bad right off the start in the second half. But so they were able to get the split. And that gets us to the Astros series. They have an upcoming series with the Yanks. The last.
No, they just have a 1 game with the Yanks.
Oh, they don't have a home series with the Yanks?
I think they play the Yankees twice this month, because one of them's a makeup game.
Okay.
So they have the 14th, the 15th versus the Astros. 16th, they're flying to New York, which stings because I'll be flying to Baltimore, which is a couple hours away. So I'll just be missing it. But I go on Tuesday. So I'm going to be missing them. And then they go to Detroit, 17th, 18th, 19th. 20th, 21st, 22nd, they go to Cleveland. And then 24th and 26th, they go to Baltimore. So, a pretty easy, 2 week or like week and a half after you face the Yankees. I think they're capable of beating the Yankees. They've proven that. Normally they play the Yankees well. And then, from the 17th to the 26th, from the, Detroit Indians and the Orioles, I think they're going to win a lot of those games. And then it'll be just enough to creep back into like, oh, we're 5 games out. We're 5 games out. And then, when they face the Padres, the 27th, 28th, maybe that'll be the reality check.
That's going to be torture. I'm telling you, if they get back into it, it's going to be torture.
Yeah.
So what else you got going on with the anything else wrapping up the Toronto series or looking ahead to the Astros?
Man, just as of right now, the best recommendation I have to Angels fans is go to the games, enjoy Shohei Ohtani for what he's doing. Mm-hmm. This is going to be a season that we tell our kids about. This is going to be a series you tell your grandkids about. Or sorry, not a series, a season, just because of Shohei Ohtani. That alone's worth it. Tickets are going to be cheap AF right now. Go on 714 tickets, go to, whatever. Tickets are going to be like $5. Go there, enjoy the game for what it is. We're starting to hit the point of the season now where we're enough out of contention where the only thing that matters to me when I go is that day. That day is the playoffs to me. That day is the World Series, because we're probably not going to do it this year. So, enjoy the game for what it is. Enjoy seeing the young kids, man. I'm enjoying it. I will say that this team, though they're losing and though it's frustrating, at least the kids are making it more fun because, Adele, Marsh, those guys are at least trying. It isn't, a ball kicked to the corner. Upton's just going to kick it with his foot and just kind of going to lollygag, little limp arm throw.
Mm-hmm.
At least these kids are trying.
I agree. And, we don't want to see Upton kick anything anymore because remember when he kicked the wall, was it last year? And or was it a year
before? That sounds right.
Yeah, and he was out.
I think it was last year.
Yeah, he was out for a long time with a stubbed toe. So, I mean, did they have to remove his leg at some point? Because he was out a long ass time last year.
No, he got hip surgery.
No, a toe to hip surgery.
he smashed his toe and he needs elbow surgery. Tommy John. They're like, what?
Artie's like, makes sense.
Yeah, I'm not gonna question it. He's all, okay, mi amigo. Está bien, todo.
Sí. But
canceled.
Yeah.
Todd's canceled. Welcome to the Fernando Show.
It's like the third time you try to cancel me on this show. Oh man,
you're gonna go out to dinner with your friend Pepe Le Pew. Do you remember like that meme with that little African American boy where he's like doing the peace out and he's like fading away?
Oh, yeah. I'm like,
yeah. And the fourth one, he's like gone.
Oh man. Well, you got anything else, my man?
No. I guess I got exactly what I expected out of the Blue Jay series. We got that young split, but I mean, as far as the Astros, I mean, I probably would have said 1 out of 3 anyway, but we're going to go 1 of 3. I don't think we're going to sweat. We'll win tomorrow just to get back to 500 again.
I'm hoping we get at least a W tomorrow because for all those that don't know, it's our first annual, tailgate. So hopefully next year we'll have a lot more people. But this one's going to be the Kickstarter at the worst part of the season. But we'll see how it goes tomorrow. We'll have giveaways and everything at the stadium. We're looking forward to meeting the fans. And so maybe by the time you hear this, it'll be already over or it'll be starting. So it just depends on when I get this out there to everybody. Hopefully tomorrow morning or whatever. But I got to run and pick up the canopies. So you can get a hold of us anywhere on where you listen to podcasts. Basically, we're there, and check out the Red Bubble for the merch. You want to tell them a little bit about the merch before we roll?
The merch, softest merch out there, softest merch in the game. You got to believe that. The designs are great, produced and made by Randy Yaz. We own all of our merch, so if you're ever going to buy our merch on Red Bubble, make sure it's from Halos in the Infield. A lot of imitators out there.
Yeah,
they're not donating their money. They're not donating it to minor league baseball players. We have our point of contact with the 66ers, the assistant general manager. So that should be a good time. We're looking forward to feeding some struggling minor leaguers, and not struggling as far as performance, but struggling for a good meal. So a lot of stuff with that on the horizon. One thing that Todd always forgets to say, rate and review our podcast. Give us 1 star. Give us 5 stars, whatever you feel. I'm not out here trying to buy 5 stars. You think we're a 1-star show? We're going to ride that 1 star proudly.
Yeah.
1 star.
If you want to ask a question, write a comment, say F you in the comments. That doesn't matter either, too. Just write some comments. That'd be great. So,
there you Slim, Dear Todd, I wrote you, but you still ain't calling. James, you hit the wrong soundbite again.
James, come on. Right soundbite.
Yeah.
All right,
so James, no.
Wake up, James. So for Todd Fox and the always good co-host,
Fernando Mania.
Peace out. Go Angels.
Viva Los Angelitos.